Good day and welcome to the Boom Bar right here on your Boom Radio NG, reaching you from Lagos, Nigeria, West Africa, Africa, the world.
Mars.
No, not Mars. The world and of course the galaxy.
The galaxy. No, that's what I'm saying. No, it's not the Earth. It's Mars.
If you understand,
more like Jupiter.
if you
Yeah.
understand your heavenly bodies, you cannot say Mars as part of what I was saying.
Right. Yeah, right. Anyway, I bid you a warm welcome to the bar today. It is very interesting. It's 3 p.m. again. It's time for plenty gist, sports, entertainment, politics, and everything in between. And you've been wondering what everything in between. Everything in between can be anything and everything. There's stuff that we just about a few things that that pops up as it goes. We're just very interesting and very laid back way of just bringing you news, analyzing news, and at times and even preferring solutions when we talk about this thing. So sit back, relax, enjoy the bar with us till 4 p.m. West African time, till when we're here, and put up your comments, ask your questions. We definitely would answer them right here. So my name is Oladolupo, and I bid you a warm welcome again to the bar today. And a very interesting day at the bar today. There are a few things we're going to be talking about. It's strike season, as we talked about yesterday. A lot of people, me included, was actually hoping that the strike was going to end yesterday. Sadly, it didn't. We're still hoping that it will still end really, really soon. Another one started today, and looks like it's going to be very, very devastating if something is not done about it very, very fast. Quickly moving on from that, we're going to be talking about the weather. The rains are not off yet. We've not had a lot of rain in a few days. A few weeks ago, especially in Lagos, it was back to back rain that was causing flooding and all that. Looks like we're not out of the woods yet, as the Nigerian Meteorological Agency has news for us, as it looks like there's going to be rainfall. We're going to be talking about that. Also, some young children decided to celebrate their recently passed examinations. For people coming out of secondary school, especially in Nigeria, I don't know in other places, passing WAEC is literally the ultimate. Unfortunately, only if you know that it's just the beginning of issues, I can tell you for free. But it's okay to feel like that at some point. But sadly, it looks like some of these children are not going to use their newly found results, or their newly acquired results. We're going to be talking about that, some very, very sad story right there. Also, Nollywood actor that was accused of rape has come out to break his silence after he was bailed. He was granted bail. Also, there's an update on the local government chairman. I don't know if you saw that update as well. The local government chairman in Anambra State that was suspended by the governor. We're talking about it. Is the suspension where it's going to end? Looks like that is not the case, as there's definitely updates on that as well. There's business stories of Nigeria and some other countries that look like the UK is going to be opening up their borders duty free for export from Nigeria and a lot of countries. That's good news for people that understand business. Also, there's news that came out today that for people saving in Nigerian banks, the Central Bank of Nigeria had added about they've increased the profit the profit you gain from these things to about, I think, 4.2%.
The interest
You get interest you get on your savings to about 4.2%. That's not bad. You know, every single amount of money that you want is needed. Also talking about world business news. We know that yesterday we talked about Nigeria's inflation. How inflation was yesterday or 2 days ago. The inflation is really, really eating deep into the economy in Nigeria. Now it looks like it's not just only Nigeria, as for the first time ever, the UK inflation has risen to double digits, and there's also talks about it getting way higher by first quarter of 2023. So yeah, we're going to be talking about this and a few other things as it pops up along the line, if we can, and we'll be able, if we can, get as much as in before the show ends today. So yes, that's all we'll be able to talk about today. So let's get right into it. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is an update from look, before I even go all the way to that, let's talk about something that people are making fun of, and I don't understand why. And it is the issue of Elon Musk. Personally, I think that the man is taking a lot of companies for a joke. Why? Remember that a few weeks ago, news broke that he was buying. In fact, the news that broke was that he had bought Twitter. Then there was a lot of back and forth. Then we found out that yes, there were actually negotiations that he wanted to buy Twitter. Now there's talks about him pulling out of the deal, and then Twitter suing him for pulling out of the deal, and all that. And now, also he had come out to make a statement where he said that one of the reasons, kind of implying that one of the reasons why he's not buying Twitter again is because he wants to buy Manchester United. And he has also now come out to say that it was a joke. What kind of a joke is that?
Okay, so Elon Musk is the richest individual in the world, right?
Yeah.
Still is the richest. So with all the money he has, of course, he has time on his hands. And he's a very, very controversial person, because when you speak your mind and you speak it your own way, you are controversial. But when you have money, it takes a different color. It's not the regular controversy. So in his own case, he likes to play a lot. He jokes a lot, and he feels that it's banter. But apparently, this could be risky for him now, because if he's saying, like from the angle that you took it now, that he said something about buying Twitter, then he's not buying Twitter anymore, and the reason why he's not buying Twitter is because he wants to buy Man United. And he now comes out to say that was a joke. So was buying Twitter a joke?
Maybe.
If I'm the owners of Twitter,
maybe
I would take his tweet and use it as evidence against him and said, you see, it caused people to be sacked, stocks to crash, and all sorts of things happened in anticipation of him buying Twitter, only for him to come out to say it was a joke. And you say, you didn't say buying Twitter was a joke, but you said that the reason why he couldn't buy it was because you wanted to buy Man United. Buy was a joke. So of course that is by extension something that can be pinned on him. Although in his tweet he went further on to say that he's been a lifelong fan, that was his favorite thing growing up and all of that. So maybe, just maybe, And
it's very interesting, because now that we know that Manchester United is going through a law, also remember that fans are planning to actually protest against the owners of Manchester United right now. So maybe I think that it probably came as, oh, finally somebody else is taking this over. Maybe give people some form of hope, and then here we are. It's a joke. I don't think you should use those kind of things as jokes. So,
well, I hope this one doesn't cost him, Sha, because his move on Twitter is definitely going to cost him something.
Oh yeah, it's looking like
if he wins the case, he would have spent money on lawyers and time and all.
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
So it's all good. Let's see how it works.
Let's see how it works. But people are going off and laughing about it.
Yeah. So Elon Musk tweeting about buying Man United is a joke. So you Man United fans, sorry, no.
It's really
But in a few days' time, the real fans will go. They are going to stand up. They're going to stand up. They will make the Glazers know that they are no longer welcome. They were never welcome in the first place, you know. And it's time that fans who spent their hard-earned money supporting a team have a say. I have never liked the concept of one person owning these clubs. I've never.
But most of them actually do now.
I have never liked it.
The concept, okay.
The concept, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I prefer the German football concept where the bulk of the teams in Germany are
owned by the
people, by the communities, you know, community ownership and everything. Of course, the global fans can buy into it and all of that. But, you see, when it's a one-man business,
everybody just does, everything can happen. Everybody does whatever it is they like. So we'll definitely see how that pans out, though. We hope that something is going to come out of that, but we'll definitely would follow that. And let's move on from that, and let's move on to something that is on everybody's lips. And yesterday, what was really on everybody's lips was the ASUU strike would have ended. For people that do not know, ASUU is the Academic Staff Union of Universities, and it's very interesting. Yeah, there's been a lot of back and forth from with ASUU and the federal government involving state universities and all. You know, everybody has been going on. Why are they on strike? Why are they not on strike? What is the IPPIS? What's the UTAS? You know, a lot of things back and forth. And there was supposed to be a meeting, or there was a meeting actually, between the federal government and ASUU yesterday. And of course, for people that do not know, the strike has not ended still. But the update where we're going to clear the air here is because a lot of people are going on, or a lot of media houses are going on about the fact that this did not, the strike had not ended, and then the meeting ended like in a gridlock and all that. But the real story behind it is that the federal government delegation and ASUU had reached a resolution, but they are supposed to take this resolution. That's the federal government delegation that's headed by the secretary to the government of the federation. They're supposed to take it back to the Federal Executive Council for approval.
Yes, I'm going through one of the stories there. You know, I read it, and you know, you're thinking about, in clear terms, ASUU needs more money, but they're not saying give us money. For instance, 1.1 trillion naira for the revitalization of public universities. At times it hits me like a dream. Like, wait, the school is my own. I'm the federal government.
And you're telling me how to run my school.
I employed you. I pay your salaries. But wait. Now I must inject 1.1 trillion for you to come and teach people. Okay, interesting. I don't get it, but it is interesting.
Yeah, you know,
I saw a video of the president of the Lecturers Union, ASUU, on Channels TV, and the anchor Shehu Okibalo asked him about how private universities were doing and everything, and the man pointed to something about how private universities would take people who do not pass well in JAMB, and they all come out with first. Yeah. And I understand that.
I agree with him. I agree. I saw that video and I agree with him.
He has a very strong point there.
Yeah.
You understand? And I haven't interacted with a lot of Nigerian graduates. I get what the man is saying, but you know the funny thing?
Yeah.
Even the public schools are not different.
They're not doing it.
They might not be allowing people who score less than the cutoff mark into universities. He also talked about how cutoff marks have been dropped.
Yeah.
I get that. So it shows you that there's a problem with our entire education
system. Yes, I agree.
It's not just the tertiary. But you see, the thing now for me is that the issues that he pointed out about the private schools is happening under their very own noses. In the public schools, they are graduating people, even if you are not dashing them first class certificates like the private universities are allegedly dashing them, according to him, because I have to play safe here. However, even if you are not doing that, the graduates from your own institutions are not that fantastic. A lot of them are not up to scratch. And one of the reasons is because the lecturers are also not doing
what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little debatable.
Please let us debate it.
But because to a large extent, why I at times I would not I have a bit of issues with what you said, and there's also what he said, is because let me take it from this angle. I remember that my younger brother went to a private university, yeah, and there's some things that the school put in place which I felt that made perfect sense. There were some most of the departments, other than your regular school work, before you graduate, you should have done at least one professional exam or taken a professional course in addition with your regular school work. So a lot of them, take for example like accounting. I know that as you're graduating, you should have like your ICANN, which takes people 2, 3, 4 years, even after university, to get. So as you're reading for school, you're reading for ICANN, which makes sense, which makes perfect sense to me, which we don't see in public universities. But also, do I agree with the fact that our cutoff marks and a lot of schools, a lot of private schools take a lot of children that are not up to par, a lot of students that are not up to par, where federal universities, I can say for a fact, would not take. I don't know about a lot of schools, but I know that for a fact. University of Ibadan, I say that you might not get what you want exactly, but if you have a very good score, you will get into University of Ibadan, yeah, without knowing anybody. Now, the problem I see with our schools, which I will say that I agree with you a bit, was for going to University of Ibadan, we see a lot of lecturers because there isn't a lot of supervision. That's the word. There isn't a lot of supervision from the school authority or even the Ministry of Education themselves. You would see how some lecturers will not come to class for like half or a whole semester. And you're just literally supposed to teach yourselves to pass a course. I remember very well that there was a course that I did in 400 level where there was, I think, a week to the exams. The man did not come the whole semester, week to exams. He gave us this thick material and he asked us to go and read it, and that was what was going to come out. So, do I agree with that part a bit? Yes, it's not, it makes no sense if we're going to look at that. So, as much as they're advocating, they themselves need to look inward. What exactly is it that they're doing that is wrong? You will see that I remember that I had a friend then that was talking about how his lecturer, I think he was in computer science, where he did a project in some language, and his lecturer told him to convert it because he did not understand. Like, how does that even happen?
It happens because, again, for the upteenth time, I'm going to say it, we need to upgrade our syllabuses, all the syllabuses from primary to secondary to university. You are teaching people computer science and computer studies, and people that didn't even go to school, 14, 13, 15-year-olds are writing code, you know, and all the more advanced courses.
Yeah.
So why do I need to go through 6 years of primary school, 6 years of secondary school, then write the entry exam, then write the screening exam, then spend 6 years on a 4-year course to do something that a secondary school kid can do now?
Yeah.
So again, that's why I was saying that let us debate it. Debate the fact that I have come across a lot of graduates who are sound, and if you check, it's not necessarily because they were properly trained in school.
Yeah,
they had to work on themselves.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So the lecturers themselves, they are not completely, absolved of this issue, but they have strong points. The government on its own too, they say government is a continuum, so there's no excuse.
Oh yeah. Now according to some anonymous person that was at the ASUU meeting with the federal government, they're also talking about how the federal government is asking ASUU to go back to school, to go back to classes, that a lot of the monies that they're asking for now cannot be given but has to be included in the 2023 budget.
So what do you do?
Do we wait until the budget is
2023, which by that time the students would have been at home for a year.
Almost a year, yeah.
You get, because the budget will not be ready until maybe January next year, or if you're lucky, December. But implementation will not start until January.
The president is supposed to submit the budget in September, but of course we know that the budget is not starting until 2023.
Yeah,
that's if 2022 budget is not even moved.
And it's an election year.
So
there will be distractions and there will be pressure. However, if you take a look at things, in reality, they are sure. ASUU is sure. I've spoken to lecturers, at least I've spoken to one lecturer one-on-one, and I've watched videos, I've seen their interviews. They are really sure that the government has 1.1 trillion naira stashed somewhere for them.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like what you said, sorry for cutting you short. There was a part, there was an interview that I saw where the ASUU president was talking, ASUU chairman was talking about how the federal government should use the money that is used for school feeding to fund ASUU. And I'm like, okay. Did this man think about what he said?
Doesn't it sound greedy?
Wait,
not the word greedy. There's a word that they'll be using for the younger generation.
How do you
wait, doesn't it sound entitled?
Okay, you're an educationist, so money that is used to feed primary school children that will end up we're hoping that will get into tertiary university, they should take that from them and then use to fund you old people. I'm lost. I saw that thing and I'm like, I'm not sure this man thought of it through before he said what he said.
But it's what they've been discussing at their meetings and stuff. They've been going on about how, in fact, I heard someone say that they should stop paying subsidy so that they can pay ASUU.
Subsidy that affects over 200 million Nigerians. And they should pay ASUU.
Yeah.
I think that as much as some of the things that they want are tenable, I also think that, personally, my opinion, they're a bunch of selfish human beings. My own opinion. That's it. I'm not saying that the presidency or the federal government is right, but I also think that ASUU is actually is being unfair. Especially when the children that have been at home for months. This is what a lot of people have experienced. These lecturers also experienced this strike when they were in school.
I have
and it's funny how you didn't like it then, but you're doing the exact same thing now.
I have a copy or a picture of the Daily Sketch newspaper of about 41 years ago, and it has to strike. Maybe I'll share it with you when we're done.
Oh, maybe please do.
that is what we're talking about. I said I experienced it.
Yeah.
And that was in the 90s.
Exactly.
That was in the 90s.
It's very it's very sad.
20 something years after, we're still on ASUU.
But I really hope, my hope is that for the sake of Nigerian students, that whatever it is that the discussions they're having now is going to put to bed the issue of ASUU strike forever.
Well, we don't know if that will work, because we used to say that when they get this, they won't ask for
They won't ask
more.
for something else again. But what
And again, we won't stop pointing out the ripple effect that it might have on the other bodies in
yeah.
Nigeria's educational subsector.
Exactly. Also talking about strike and schools. There was news yesterday that I think LAUTECH, that's Ladoke Akintola University of Technology in Ogbomosho. I didn't know they were on strike. There is State University. I didn't know they were on strike, which we know that LAUTECH's strike issue is another story entirely. They are one of the schools that they are almost always on strike, sadly. But there was news that they had resumed. I'm like, okay, maybe it was this ASUU strike too, or maybe it was like a solidarity strike, what I thought. And I'm like, okay, it looks like they're back in school. Only for me to find out that, okay, it's an internal issue with the state government. And the lecturers in LAUTECH have come out to say that students should not resume, that they are still on strike. And it has nothing to do with this ASUU strike.
They have their own internal issues.
Yeah.
And so
I think that's something. I think the fundamental of a school like LAUTECH has issues. Remember that one of the major issues they've always had is the issue with would I call it politics between Osun State and Oyo State?
Resolved now.
But that has been resolved. So that was why I was shocked, because I thought that that was always the issue. That was why they were always having issues. But here we are, they're still on strike again. So what's causing it? But anyway, we hope that all these strikes are really put to bed. A lot of these things just ends where it ends. But still talking about strike.
Yes, he said put to bed. Put to bed in this context is let it end.
Let it end. Yeah.
But when they say someone has put to bed, is that the person has given
Oh my
birth.
God.
So you're asking for more.
No, I'm sure you get what I'm saying.
Maybe I don't.
Of course you.
Maybe I don't.
Of course you don't. It is you. Anyway, moving on from that, still talking about strike. The National Union of Electricity Workers, we talked about it yesterday, and looks like they're officially on strike. The Southeast is official. Looks like the 5 states in the Southeast have been affected. Also, just as we were coming on the show, I saw a public notice from Ikeja Electric. That's one of the 2 electricity companies in Lagos State and its environs. And they're saying, according to there's a public notice from them, that due to ongoing nationwide picketing of transmission stations by the National Union of Electricity employees, they are currently experiencing disruption of power supply as most stations within the network have been shut down.
And taking it from, she started from the east to Lagos. From Lagos, let's go to the north.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, now this affects Kaduna, Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara. The TCN Kaduna Regional Station covers those 4 northwestern states, and they've also been shut down by workers who are picketing. They even said that one of these transmission stations, they locked the place with their own keys and chased all the workers out, and said that they're not going to resume until the federal government accedes to their demands. Some of the things that they are asking for, I don't know if we went through it yesterday, but of course we have new people listening and watching today, is that workers who used to work with the old power generating company, the PHCN, some of them are being owed arrears. They're talking about the non-payment of arrears, old former workers of the PHCN, Power Holding Company of Nigeria. which does not exist anymore. So some of their workers are actually being owed arrears. And the suspension of conditions of service and career path for workers, I try to understand what that means, but and the directive by the transmission, company, the board of the transmission company, to conduct promotion interviews for acting principal managers who are moving to the post of assistant general managers. They are not happy with that. Let's analyze that quickly.
Okay.
You are already acting in the role as a principal manager, and you're probably going to be confirmed in that role or be promoted as assistant general manager. Yeah? So the board is asking that you go through some kind of interview or test or whatever, and they're not happy with this.
I think that, to be honest, I think that we're good. We're very comfortable with mediocrity. Because you're in one position for a number of years, how does it qualify you automatically for the next position if you're probably not tested? Yes. Do people get promotion without getting tested? Oh yes, it happens. Yeah. But we're talking about companies that affect things that affect people's lives, like legit affect everybody's lives. Why is it that to me it sounds like we like to wallow in mediocrity? If you are you're confident in your competence, you're confident that okay, you can do the job that they're giving you to do,
bring it on.
Whatever exam or whatever test they're giving you should not be a problem.
I know for a fact that I had a friend who got promoted in the customs and Nigerian customs.
They all write exams,
and he had just come back from writing an exam.
They all write exams. Doctors write exams, and all of that. Yeah. Soldiers write exams. Yeah, people in the customs. So what? Why is it a problem for you?
Essential services here. We're talking about
exactly.
Generation. But on that one, I think they should drop that. But that's their demand. Now I look at that second demand clearly: suspension of conditions of service and career path for workers. Conditions of service should be a standard now. Why should it be suspended? If what they are implying is that some of the perks of their office and even the regular conditions of service have been withdrawn, I think it should be restored.
But
they have a point there, because why would you be working and the conditions of service and career path for workers? And the career path for workers is important, knowing that again, if you are in an industry, you want to grow.
Yeah.
And you should see the picture to the top if it's the top that you desire, or at least a picture or the roadmap.
Let's know where to. Yeah.
And the one about the former workers of the power holding company is also important. But I know that for a long time, until a few years ago, the workers of that company had been complaining about not being paid at all. And I know that a lot of them got paid a few years ago. You get? So, which means that there are still some areas that have not been cleared. And usually these things are captured in the budget. They're usually captured like, oh, this is what we want to do with this set of funds, or this amount of money that we want to pay to these people or that people or this one or that. I know that the workers of the airline, the defunct Nigerian Airways, also went through the same thing. So, if that is the case, is it that the government failed to capture this payment in this year's budget, or is there a reason why these funds are being...
Or it's probably sitting somewhere and somebody is sitting on it.
Yeah, so this is also a valid complaint by the workers. However, I know that they are going through a lot and they feel a certain way, but when you look at the implications of their actions, you start to wonder, like, do they really look how deep this will go? We talked about it yesterday and how there's going to be a ripple effect and they think this strike will cause. Because, hey, it will not be funny for every aspect of life.
Every aspect. You know the thing is that I always keep saying that we have come to a point where strike seems to be the only way to resolve issues. And I think that it is, I don't know, I don't have another solution yet, but I do not think that it is fair, especially when you wonder and you see the people that are going to suffer from this. The people suffering from it is the problem. It's really not about who's fighting or who wants what at the end of the day. So that's where my issue comes from. Like, can we find better ways to resolve conflicts than downing tools?
We need to look for a way. And again, government should also not be about how difficult it is for people to access them and get things sorted. You know, so maybe if government is also more receptive, we won't get to the point where we're downing tools.
We're downing tools
all the time.
Exactly. Okay. Quickly before we leave all this aspect, I want to go a little bit back to education, where this is a very sad story. At Elegushi Beach, specifically in Lagos State, 10 students, let me put it like that, 10 students that they're actually children, that's the truth, that just got the results of their work. That's the West African Senior Secondary School examination results. They got it, and they all seem to have passed. Now, according to the story from the police and also from the Elegushi family, it is said that these children went to the beach to celebrate, which is not a bad idea. Then it looked like they were waiting for the lifeguards and all that to be, so they went to an unmanned part of the beach. And everybody knows, especially beaches that are not man-made, there are parts of the beach where it's not every part of the beach that people will be at. So 10 of them decided to get into the water, and in the process they started drowning. Lucky for 6 of them, lifeguards were alerted and 6 of them were brought out safely. Sadly, 4 of them were not so lucky, and still more unfortunately, only one body of the 4 has even been recovered.
It is a sad situation. I know what young people get up to. We've all been young once. And the spokesperson of the beach, the management of the beach, had said that according to him, that the kids were actually barred from coming in. But they found their way in. You know, it's a beach now. There are parts where...
That's what I'm saying.
So, like you said, the unmanned part of it. So, meaning that if they are coming through the proper part, maybe we won't be having this discussion.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the lifeguards would have been there to save them. I'm even happy to hear that they have lifeguards, because at times you go to the beach and you don't see any sign of
all
any
those
lifeguard.
things.
In reality, you don't.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't see them. But I know that every beach in Lagos, they always have people, even the locals are always there.
Oh, yeah.
And there are times where they put a red flag up.
Oh, yeah. You see those red flags that do not get past this place.
There are times when you want to get into the water. I remember I used to go to the beach a lot way back when. And they'll just tell you, please don't even go into the water at all today. Don't even go. Don't even go into the water at all. And you're like, why? And I'm like, just don't go. At times they'll tell you, and there was a time we saw sharks. That was the first time.
There's some fish that
hump or whatever.
There's sometimes that they have some superstitious reasons for it, but when they say don't go, just don't. Like, it's just.
So please, this is appealing to. This is a sad one, but it can't be remedied in any way. They even said they actually arrested 2 of them and took them to the police station. Maybe this is to absolve themselves of any blame. That's the owners of the beach.
Yeah.
Managers of the beach, but this is to appeal to parents and other young people, or even grown people. please don't go into the waters if you don't know how to swim and if there is no life.
No lifeguard.
It's
Even if you know how to swim, swimming in a swimming pool, swimming in a pool, and swimming in a beach are two different things.
Completely.
You do not have currents in a pool. Currents alone have carried swimmers, like professional swimmers, and that's the truth. Anything is possible. And especially now that there's rains, there's a higher level of water and all those things. Those things we really, really need to calm down with these things. It's sad. Young children that had their lives ahead of them and they just wanted to celebrate. Unfortunately, 4 of them ended it because of
and I think they said that the 2 girls and the 2 boys.
It's a very, very sad one. And I'm talking about the weather. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has predicted that there's going to be severe rainfall in 19 states across the country. And there are a lot of states that are involved, especially Lagos State. Lagos State is one of the states to be experiencing a lot of downpour in the coming days. It's not a very nice thing, especially when you see what water does in Lagos State. When you see what rain does, it's not something to look forward to. But for me, the bottom line is that it's time now, before those rains begin. It's time to clear our gutters. It's time to clear our drainages. It's time to clear our canals. There's all this dumping of things on roadsides and all that needs to stop now.
Yeah, those are things that can actually prevent things from getting worse. But when it's torrential, when it's flash flooding and all the other natural issues, at times there's really not much you can do.
There's not much. It's sad that Lagos is not having it yet. I don't know if you saw the news on Jigawa State.
What about Chad? Did you see the one about Chad yesterday?
Okay, no, I didn't see Chad, but I know Jigawa State already is experiencing serious
Chad is
rain.
A neighboring
country. The rains have started in the north already. The rains have started. Whatever it is that we can do to help ourselves, that it is said that a lot of times they tell you that if it is raining so much as possible, do not go out when it's raining. If you find yourself in the rain, find somewhere to stay to avoid. And then when there's a lot of water, try not to walk in a lot of water. If you are inside a car and the water is getting high, you should get out of the car. Little things that we can at least be safe.
And a lot of states, like they said, 19 states, virtually all the states in the southwest are going to be affected by these heavy rains. Ogun, Osun, Ondo, Ekiti, and even as far as Edo states. Because you mentioned Lagos earlier, and up north, you already mentioned Jigawa.
Yeah, the northwest, the northeast.
Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Gombe, Bauchi, Borno, Kaduna, and Adamawa states with Zamfara. And of course, in the south and the southeast, Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Abia, Imo, Anambra.
These places are already riverine areas already. So it's just one just needs to be safe at the end of the day. We just need to be safe at the end of the day. So moving on from that, and let's move on to a bit of business stories. And one of the stories that we're going to talk about is inflation happening in the whole world. 2 days ago, the National Bureau of Statistics brought out new statistics for the month, the Consumer Price Index for the month of July. And of course, inflation is moving towards 20%. It's there's really nothing we can do about it as a people, but it's we know as is a Nigerian thing, is a global thing. As now, the United Kingdom is set to have inflation of 10.1%, and according to experts, they're saying that by 2023 it can be as high as 15% if care is not taken.
scary thoughts when you take a look at what's going on globally. I am checking out the rates in different countries, and the Nigerian one is actually the highest, like you said, in first highest in 17 years.
Yeah.
And almost going to 20. Meanwhile, the UK is also experiencing the same thing, but not just the UK now. Virtually every country.
Everybody that
in the world.
The US they're talking about how they're close to recession. In the US, it's crazy.
So the US are trying to mitigate that. I know there's some bills that have just been passed and signed into law by the president of the US, which is supposed to help mitigate the effects of the inflation and the rising cost of living and all of that. This has also led to riots in Ghana. Had theirs a couple of weeks ago. Sierra Leone.
Yeah, even the UK, there was protests back and forth. It's it's a very sad thing, but
a little bit of statistics from the WeForum.org. Inflation rates have doubled in 37 of 44 advanced economies over the past 2 years. Doubled.
Wow.
And this is according to the Pew Research Center analysis. These are credible sources. You could go check them out. Turkey has had the highest inflation rate in the first quarter of 2022 at 54.8%.
Wow.
54.8% in Turkey. The country where the inflation has grown fastest is Israel, with a 25-fold increase.
25.
And the countries with the exceptions: Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, and of course Japan.
I don't know, but at this point, I think it's time
54.8%.
It's time to for me it's about being prudent. It's about just trying to do the little that you can do now. Countries need to sit down. They need to map out these plans. They need to
mash out the plans. But Dolubo, there's something you said now, and it might sound so cliche or so simple, but it will go a long way. You talk about being prudent.
Yeah.
And being prudent again. Let us first of all know that you cannot always rely on the government.
Oh yeah.
For everything, even the so-called economy that they make policies about. But within the confines of the issues and places where you find yourself, it's time for us to even look more inwards. If you don't really need it, don't buy it. Try to buy locally as much as possible.
Yeah, as much as possible, yeah.
Try not to import. As tight as things are, Nigerians are still buying a lot of things online. Not just locally, but internationally. And you might think it's just $100 that I spent, or $20. But it goes. There's 20 there.
Yeah, there, 10 there, 5 there. Yeah, it goes a long way.
So we all have a role to play in this, and that might take us at least closer to the goal of reducing the inflation figures, because a lot of us, we hide behind we don't understand all the technical jargons, but
it's basic.
But you understand when you're going to buy something that was imported, or the raw materials are majorly imported, and you bought it a few months ago at a certain price. Say for instance your beverage or your milk, and you bought it for maybe 60 naira a sachet. Then you go back now, is 75 naira. That is the inflation that we're talking about, and we all have a role to play in, making sure that maybe if you buy based on demand, because again another issue is we speculate. People are like, man, if this thing is 75 naira now, maybe I need to buy more than I usually buy. That again might work and it might not work. But that is essentials. We're talking about essentials, but we're talking luxury items and things that you really don't need. You just might want to tone it down.
Tone it down a little bit. And moving on from that, we're moving on to something else, I'm talking about some a little funny stories. Let's take it from Anambra State, where news broke last week that a local government chairman in Anambra State had been suspended by the governor for allegations of him killing his wife, basically domestic violence. And I remember that when we talked about it, you had said that, okay, what is this person might run away, that suspending him is not going to do anything. But news broke today that he has officially been arrested and detained.
Yeah, that's good news.
And that the governor, there's an investigative panel that is going on that's looking into what really happened. There is supposed to be an autopsy on this particular woman as well.
Once again, I'd like to say kudos to Governor Soludo for taking this step.
Yeah.
And the reason why we have courts, even if I am of the opinion that our laws are outdated, virtually all our laws are outdated, archaic, and they need to be upgraded and updated, there are still laws in place to handle this kind of things. Maybe the panel they're setting up has to do with the political aspect of things and all of that. But there are laws in place, and I think that they should allow the court really handle this matter. Let him also get his lawyers and have his day in court, you know?
Yeah.
The investigative panel is not a bad thing, but there are laws in place. Let us use the
Let's just let's stick to it.
So
yeah.
that nobody feels like, oh, they set up a panel, they were biased, the people in the panel, but the law is there, the courts are there, and the police should conduct their own investigation. And prosecute as appropriately.
Okay, also talking about updates, a Nollywood actor that was arrested in Akwa Ibom, I think a week ago or two, I'm not sure when exactly, that also was granted bail last week. There was talks about him raping, there's allegations of him raping a 15-year-old. That was why he was arrested. That is special assistant to the governor, and also is the governor's wife, the first lady of the state, was in on this case, and she was really going in on it. And he has now come out to say that he's innocent and that he knows nothing about it. He did not rape anybody and he didn't do nothing.
Reminds me of the Baba Ijebu, what was that? Baba Ijesha. The Baba Ijesha case. Of course, he also said he didn't do anything. So, for me, I know that you're not guilty until you have been proven guilty. But being involved with a minor in any way, being linked to one, if it's eventually proven, he has to pay.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because these things are also meant to serve as a deterrent
for other people.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, because you see, you should take on women your age or men your age. You shouldn't, or at least who are mature, you know. But when you have some kind of funny relationship with little children, it shows that you're using your own level of exposure and your wealth or your position to
take advantage.
I'll never support that. I read a statement from the guy saying that the people who believed in him and he likes the prison experience he has had and it's made him a better person. Brother's just been there for a day or two. It's made him a better person. Maybe it has. Maybe that was his own moment of truth. But whatever it is, if there's a crime that has been committed, someone has to pay.
Okay, moving on from that, also talking about a 15-year-old, there's a 15-year-old news from all the way from India where the story is that she has injected herself with her boyfriend's blood that is HIV positive. Love so amazing. Love so amazing.
15-year-old girl been in a relationship for 3 years, meaning she started dating this guy when she was 12. There's no mention of the guy's age, but maybe they are contemporaries or they are age mates.
Whatever, even if
no, because if he's older,
then there's a whole I get what you're saying.
But however, a 15-year-old. Sorry, Indian people, please, I know you may not like what I'm about to say, but you see those movies, the way you guys portray love at times, it makes people feel that is the way it should be, and that's the only way. You understand? Because I don't know where she's gotten this idea from. To put them on an even keel, right? She's gone ahead. Question is, how did she even get the HIV infected blood in the first place? How did she get it off her boyfriend? Did he willingly allow her to plunge a syringe into his veins and draw blood?
Then, yeah.
And, you know, why would you even do that in the first place? How did the young man get his HIV? That's his problem. I know that we're not supposed to stigmatize or castigate people and all of that. I get that.
But I'm guessing there is a criminal offense somewhere,
wrong, yeah.
knowingly transferring stuff to other people.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yes, I agree with you.
And again, she's 15.
She's 15. That just, that's where it just ends. Finally, before we go, talking about young people also, an 18-year-old student has now been arrested by the operatives of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Niger State, for the alleged attempt to kidnap the provost of its College of Fisheries, New Busa. It said that the suspect conspired with one other person who is now at large, allegedly wrote a letter threatening to kidnap the provost if he failed to pay the ransom.
Oh, he was actually for business.
Oh yeah, so he should pay ransom before being kidnapped. That's the point.
That's a new style.
You got it.
You got guys that are going to kidnap you, but you have to pay first so that they don't kidnap you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like advance fee fraud now. 419. This one is advance
ransom payment.
And advance ransom ARP.
So to avoid being kidnapped, you pay.
Then whenever they are broke again, they will come back to say, pay again or you don't get kidnapped. And how old did you call this guy again?
18. 18, yeah.
And he's already
an 18-year-old.
He's already kidnapping and planning to kidnap people. At least this one did not lie that he's on his skit.
Oh my God. Do you ever let things go? Link
it to anything you want to
do. You ever let things go? Like that has nothing to do with
it doesn't.
Anyway,
the other one 19.
On this note, it's time to come and be going before we say something else. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow. Please, you can go back to watch this on YouTube. It's Boom Radio MG on YouTube. Subscribe, like, drop a nice comment. Share it, like it. And, we'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you all the gist that is happening around Nigeria and all over the world. Right here on boomradio.com.ng. Peace.